Hi folks, and welcome to Is It Truly Gluten Free? Right now we're going to be testing Hormel Chili with Beans. So this is a product that is labeled gluten free. It's in very small letters right here at the bottom. It says that it's gluten free, and we're going to see and verify. So I'm going to throw this sample into the blender. Reason being, it's got all these chunks of whatever, and I want it to get thoroughly mixed together so that I have the greatest chance of finding gluten if it's there. I believe that's got it. So we'll put the lid on here and we'll proceed to blend this up. That should be all blended up. I had to use the tamper to push it all down into the blades. Okay, now I have a plastic bag here labeled Hormel Chili with Beans. I'm going to transfer chili into this bag here. Okay, I believe we have it pretty well ready to go. I'm going to close this up and then wipe this bag off, and we'll be ready to test this sample. Okay, I've got our sample of Hormel Chili with Beans right here in this bag. I've got a test tube. I've labeled it HCB, Hormel Chili with Beans. And our first step in this process of analyzing this sample is to measure out 1 gram of the food into this tube. Okay, 1.01, we'll count that as close enough. Okay, and our next step is we need to take 1 or 10 milliliters of extraction solution from this bottle, and we need to put it into the test tube containing the food sample. So I have my pipette here set to 10 milliliters. And now what we need to do is we need to vortex the sample. That should take care of all of these globs of the food hanging around up here at the top. It should get it pretty well mixed up. All right, now we're ready for the incubation phase, where basically we're going to put these vials, these samples, into a thermostatic water bath. Now I am putting multiple samples in just because that's more efficient. I'm going to do 6 at a time. So these need to incubate in this hot water bath for about 40 minutes at 50 degrees Celsius. I'm going to come back periodically and vortex all of the samples. And then we'll proceed from there. Okay, now it's time to vortex the Hormel Chili with Beans sample. Time for the second round of vortexing, so we're going to vortex the Hormel Chili with Beans sample. Third round of vortexing, the last round before the incubation step is done. Okay, now it's time to centrifuge the samples. We just finished with the incubation, and now let me open the centrifuge here. So again, as with the incubation, I'm going to be centrifuging multiple samples at the same time, just for efficiency's sake. So I have 6 spots in my centrifuge. I have 6 samples here. So I am going to centrifuge these now. I'm going to do it for 10 minutes at 2500 Gs. The centrifuge is finished now. So at this point, we need to transfer the clarified liquid from this tube that was centrifuged into this empty tube right here. So you'll notice that this tube has all of the solids have been pushed to the bottom, and what we're left with is this liquid at the top. So we need to pour that liquid off into this new tube like that. Now I can discard that old tube. It's no longer of any use. And we're going to keep this one. I'm going to allow this tube now to stand for a little while to bring it to room temperature. All right, it's now finally time to do the dilution and the analysis of Hormel Chili with Beans. I've got the extracted food sample here. And as I said, it's now time to do the dilution step. So what that entails is we're going to mix some of this dilution solution with the food sample. Now we're going to do this test at a limit of detection of 3 parts per million. So what that means is that if this test comes back negative for gluten, in other words gluten-free, it means that the product is gluten-free at a limit of detection of 3 parts per million, or if it has any gluten, that gluten is lower than 3 parts per million. If it comes back positive, it means that the product has more than 3 parts per million of gluten in it. So I'm going to take, in order to do a 3 parts per million limit of detection, it requires a 1 to 25 dilution ratio. That's the food sample to the dilution solution. So at a 1 to 25 ratio, we're going to take a 960 microliter amount of the dilution solution, and we're going to eject it into this vial here. Now we're going to add to that a 40 microliter ejection of the food sample. So I've got this pipette set to 40 microliters. And we'll just mix that up here. Okay. So now I'm going to take 100 microliters of that diluted sample. I'm going to put it into this well right here. And you'll notice that the first 4 wells are covered with tape. They've already been used. This is the next one in line. Okay, so there's 100 microliters in there. Got my test stick. I'm going to drop it in that well. Set the timer for 10 minutes. Okay, let's have a look at this test strip. It would appear that GlutenTox Sticks Plus believes that this product is gluten-free at a limit of detection of 3 parts per million. I see no red or pink anywhere on that test stick. So that sums it up. Hormel Chili with Beans appears to be gluten-free at a limit of detection of 3 parts per million. In other words, if there is any gluten at all in this product, it's lower than 3 parts per million. So this concludes this test on Hormel Chili with Beans using the GlutenTox Sticks Plus test kit at a limit of detection of 3 parts per million. At some later date, we'll go ahead and we'll test this product again, but in the meantime, we've got more tests on the way, so stick around for those and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If you'd like to stay updated on new gluten test videos as they're posted, don't forget to subscribe. You can also visit us on the web at isittrulyglutenfree.com or follow us on social media at isittrulyglutenfree. Thanks again and have a great day.